everyone, we're back. What did you think of the new intro video that I worked on? Wrote a little bit of music for it, did it on this piano, and I think it turned out pretty good. I think I'm going to start using that regularly, along with the CD cover, and eventually getting up here soon. I know that I posted it up on Facebook, Twitter, wherever else, that we are putting our music onto YouTube with the CD cover from our new album. So that's coming out soon. I'm still working on that. It takes a little bit to cut the songs and add the images, etc. But it's coming, so just be patient. Eventually you'll be able to see all of it. Actually, this week, Derek and I were able to do a little bit of band practice yesterday. We were able to write music for a couple of songs that we had ideas for. Actually, one of them is still titled with question marks just because we don't know what to call it. But we have guitar and we have piano. And we were able to sit down and do a little bit more recording of some new styles. So it's actually been really fun. I have a feeling that this CD is going to get done a little bit quicker than the last one if we continue at the pace that we're going. But that so far is our third or fourth band practice this year. So if each session is as quality as yesterday's, it might be fast, or if it's the quantity versus quality, I don't know how much we're actually going to do. But we're trying to make sure we do it once a week, and if that happens, we can actually have full-on written songs before we start recording the CD by the end of the year. So that's the current projected date, is to start recording in January of 2015. So that's pretty cool. New CD on the way. This week, actually, I got to participate in a Stage It concert that was Motion City Soundtrack doing their I Am the Movie CD. They played the entire thing from beginning to end. And what Stage It is it allows a band who's playing remotely to be able to share their live concert via internet to those who are willing to purchase tickets. And actually someone allowed me to hitch a ride with them, and so I actually got in for free. I was able to listen to and participate in this live studio performance of Motion City Soundtrack that was a semi-acoustic set, and they kind of did covers of their own songs. So all of the songs didn't sound like they did on the CD. It was very different. But it was different in a good way because you could see they were all having fun on stage. Josh was just doing amazing at playing his guitar. Justin was singing his heart out. And actually what was awesome is at the very end, they were going to cut the concert short because it got to a point where Justin was afraid that they were running out of time because of the Stage It concert only allows 1 hour. And the CD of I Am the Movie is literally 54 minutes. So they had 6 minutes of talk time and tuning time. And so he was pretty nervous and he was kind of like stuttering, and he was afraid that he was going to miss out on it. And I don't know if you know much about Justin Pierre, but he's kind of twitchy, and he actually has social anxiety. He takes medication for it. He also suffers from asthma, where he can just like stop singing in the middle of a song because he can't get enough oxygen. He's just an awesome guy, just very interesting. But at the end, the guys who were running their digital show were chatting, because the way it works is there's a chat column on the side, and they were live chatting saying that they could keep the show running and that Justin didn't have to worry. And so we were able to participate all the way up through to an encore where they played Where Is My Mind by the Pixies. And if you're not familiar with that song, it's actually at the end of the movie Fight Club. It's the very end when he and Marla Singer hold hands. And I don't want to give away too much if you haven't seen it, but as that song kicks on, it's just like kind of monumental building in the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it, because it's like my favorite movie of all time. If you have seen the movie and you think it was ridiculous, well, that's your own prerogative. But I definitely love that film to death. And so the fact that my second favorite band of all time covered the theme, well, not really theme, but the end song of my favorite movie of all time was probably one of the most epic moments in my life. And they're going to actually put the live concert out on a CD this year after their studio album is released. They actually made a movie of I Am the Movie, the making of it, that they did back in 2001 is when I Am the Movie came out. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. So we're going to move on from there, and I'm going to segue into the Band of the Week. And in the Band of the Week, it's actually going to be Motion City Soundtrack, just because I was so excited to go back and listen to some old songs that inspired me, made me want to become what I am today. If it weren't for Dave Matthews Band and some of the videos that they put out of recording CDs, I never would have wanted to record CDs. And if it weren't for Motion City Soundtrack's lyricism, I wouldn't want to write music the way I do. So I definitely have to give it to them, and the fact that I was able to go and watch a live concert by them of their first CD, which is pretty rare for a band to go out and play their old music like that. So it was really just inspiring for me. We're definitely going to say, if you haven't listened to Motion City Soundtrack, I suggest it. A lot of their songs are kind of broken and disrupted. The concept behind them feels like an insane person. A lot of the things that Justin uses as lyrics and as references are everyday things, but it's all kind of modern day instances of his lyrics. So sometimes he'll sing about the late night prepaid television scams of trying to search for the perfect harmony between a steak knife and a nonstick frying pan. Just lyrics like that kind of make him human. And it's pretty rare to see celebrities that you idolize yourself as humans. That's probably the reason why I love Motion City the way that I do. Next up in our little segments, we're going to do What Inspired Me Today. And what inspired me today was definitely 30 Seconds to Mars. I've been listening to them a little bit, and they have a couple of songs that are really good off of one of their albums. If you don't know who 30 Seconds to Mars, the lead singer Jared Leto just won an Oscar. He was a transvestite in the movie, I guess. I haven't seen it, but he's been an actor in a lot of really famous movies. Fight Club, he was in there. He's actually the blonde guy who gets beat up. He was in American Psycho. He's the guy who gets his head chopped up by the American Psycho. And then he's in a couple other movies on the side, of course. But Jared Leto is a really amazing guy, and he's a really good singer. If you've ever listened to 30 Seconds to Mars, he's amazing. And I was actually listening to, there's a song that's called Closer to the Edge. It kind of is talking about how, there's things that you have to give up in your life. And when you do, oh well, let it go and don't be frustrated with it. The lyrics that I'm going to pull up here are from the song Closer to the Edge. Honestly, myself, I feel like it's also singing about a loved one that he wants to get rid of, and he's closer to the edge of getting rid of them, but he's not sorry that he's getting rid of them kind of concept. So I'm going to read a little bit more than I did of Owl City last time. The lyrics in Closer to the Edge say, I don't remember the moment I tried to forget. I lost myself. Is it better not said? Now I'm closer to the edge. It was 1,000 to 1 and 1,000,000 to 2. Time to go down in flames, and I'm taking you closer to the edge. And then the chorus sings, no, I'm not saying I'm not sorry. One day maybe we'll meet again. No, I'm not saying I'm not sorry. Maybe one day we'll meet again. That kind of goes along with the feelings that I've been having this past week of being extremely frustrated. People not listening to you when you're trying to give advice, or people not adhering the words that you're like. You'll talk to them and you'll say things to them, and they're listening not to listen, but they're listening to respond. I don't know if you guys are familiar with how to active listen versus active response, but the way that humans work in your brain is when someone is speaking to you, a lot of the times you're not paying attention to the actual words that are being said, but you're waiting to be able to give your response, so you're only partially listening to what's being said. That has been getting on my nerves so much right now, because every single time I try to talk to specific people, they don't read anything that I've written them, or they don't listen to anything that I've said to them, and they give me a response that responds to something that I addressed in the previous statement. And so I've actually had to tell people to go back and re-listen to what I said, or reread what I said. I have to do it at work all the time, where I tell people, go do this, and they're like, oh, but it doesn't say that. Yeah, not to get all sidetracked and depressed and be angsty and angry about what people do or say. When you're listening to someone, don't listen to respond. Just listen to what they have to say. I like to apply the same thing to music as well. A lot of times people are looking to get offended by lyrics, or they're looking to get into the rhythm of the music and never actually listen to what the artists are saying. You can't do that with pop music. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say it as rudely as I can, but they don't write their own music. So the artist isn't saying something, it's someone else that's saying something. But if you really want to get to know the artist, find people who write their own songs and then read the lyrics and listen to them. And they're actually trying to say something to people. They're trying to get their ideas out to the world. So I just kind of want to end on that note. This little bugger has joined us for the entire video. He's been the naughty thing that's been walking back and forth down here. It's driving us all crazy. So figured I'd get him to say hi to everybody. Good old little sparrow. And I hope to see you all next week.